Good morning, Mr. Chairman and ranking members. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to testify today on behalf of families of fatally injured workers. My name is Becky Foster. My testimony today is in honor of my stepson, Jeremy Foster. Jeremy was the best son a family could hope for. He was a respectable young man who loved his family and enjoyed spending much of his time outdoors. Our Jeremy would have celebrated his 24th birthday last Saturday. Our time with Jeremy was cut short, tragically short, in the early hours of Friday, October 1st, 2004. His mother called me at 2 a.m., very upset, and saying that a friend of Jeremy's that was working with him at the Deter Timber Sawmill in Ola, Arkansas, had called his aunt. This was the only phone number that the friend could think of. And he said that Jeremy had been badly hurt while working near the chipper. We naturally assumed that he would be taken immediately to the local hospital only 15 miles away, so we chose to meet there. I called his dad at work, and we all went to the hospital and waited for the ambulance to arrive. It never did. After waiting approximately 45 excruciating minutes, a nurse walked into the room to repeat what she had been told from a phone call. At the same time, Jeremy's aunt, who had also met us at the hospital along with his uncle, received another call on her cell phone. She looked at us and said, "Jeremy is gone." I will not describe what we went through in those moments. The pain cannot be described. We all left from the hospital, called family members, and then we met at the oldest sister's house, his oldest sister's house. Later that morning, 2 men from Deter Timber came to the door to express their condolences. They wouldn't tell us what happened, but they assured us that they would find out and they would keep us updated. Those 2 men left that morning, and we've never seen or heard from them again. It was our friend who works as a coroner at the funeral home that told us what happened, that he had been strangled. She said that his shirt had caught on something and was wound continuously until the shirt became so tight around his neck that he could no longer breathe. It was later that we learned that this equipment caught his shirt because it had been modified by maintenance workers at Deter Timber. They had welded a piece of key stock to an auger shaft, and by not placing a guard over this modified area, they created a catch point. It is stated in the OSHA report that this modification was the direct result of our son's death. When we received our copy of the OSHA report, we were not surprised at all to see the notation of the company's actions being at fault for the fatality. But we were appalled to see the amount of the fine at $4,500. Surely this was an error. Shortly afterwards, we read in our state newspaper that this fine had been reduced to only $2,250. Did they place the value of our only son's life at this amount? It was as if OSHA had patted Deter Timber on the back and said, "Good job, guys. You only killed one person." This company walked away from us and was only at a loss of $2,250. They sent flowers to the funeral, and they walked away. Jeremy was employed with Deter Timber through a temp agency. The temp agency paid for the funeral under workers' compensation regulations. We were left with nothing but pain and loss, still are. We did consult lawyers, several of them, but our state of Arkansas does an excellent job of protecting employers. Because of workers' compensation statutes and a dual employment law, we were denied our day in court with Deter Timber. At the very least, Deter Timber should have been penalized with a substantial fine. Yes, we understand that companies are in business to make a profit, and a very large fine could result in loss of profit. But of course, they would have a chance to make up for this loss in the next fiscal quarter. What about the worker that is killed? There is no second chance. All of this could have been avoided simply by reviewing OSHA equipment regulations before modifying this equipment. Just one moment to consider the options would have saved Jeremy's life. Why even have regulations if they're not being enforced? Why have penalties if they're not substantial enough to get the company's attention and to prevent more accidents? Obviously, this meager fine had no lasting impression on this company. Since Jeremy's accident, there have been at least 2 other accidents. One was a fire at another location that resulted in 1 death and 2 serious burn injuries. The posters that you see behind me represent the thousands of other people that are killed on the job every year. Mr. Chairman and ranking members, I plead for your support in any efforts that are presented to ensure a safer workplace. Thank you.